was 17, I think, and self-identified as a punk when I met the guy on one or another of the online punk message boards that I participated in at the time. He was only a year older than me and lived not too far from me in Pennsylvania. And we were both planning to attend the upcoming Bouncing Souls concert at the Trocadero in Philly. We said we'd find each other there. Pre-cell phone era, we had to set a place time in advance, sketch out our physical characteristics, and then make awkward eye contact with every kid who seemed to share them, and who was standing in front of the bar without ordering anything. Me, short, spiky, black and green hair, a tight blue t-shirt, kilt. Oh, the 90s, and combat boots. Him, buzzed dark brown hair, a Descendants t-shirt, and black Dickies. I found him waiting with a friend. We couldn't talk in front of his sneering blonde buddy, so I gave him my parents' phone number and told him to call me later. I was online as ever, and when he dropped an email asking if 3 a.m. was too late to call. Of course not, I told him, indignance seeping through my text. And what kind of punk would be in bed by 3, I thought. Taking his call required a ritual I devised so that I'd chat with random men from the internet at all hours. Step 1, call movie phone. Step 2, let movie phone cycle through the local theater's offerings for as long as it took for the call waiting to beep. Step 3, switch to the incoming call. No ringing phone, no irate parents. And I always knew the plots of the newest blockbusters. He and I argued during that first phone call about whether Rage Against the Machine and Green Day were sellouts. He took the position that they were getting an important message to a mass audience. I took the position that they were cheapening that message by getting involved with the big media conglomerates that were part of the problem. We bickered. And then suddenly he said, "Can I drive to see you?" He did. I looked at my watch. 4 a.m. already, and he was an hour away. Seemed reasonable. "You can't come to my parents' house," I told him. "So what should we do?" He paused. I paused. Then, "How about Washington Crossing National Park? It's right near me. We can meet near the Wildflower Preserve," I suggested. He agreed, so we set the time, 5 a.m., to meet there and watch the sunrise together. I had 45 minutes to figure out a plausible explanation for leaving the house at 4:45 a.m. I scribbled on a notepad, "Work friends and I are getting breakfast. I'll go straight to work after. Don't worry about me, love Liz." I'm not sure my parents believed the note so much as they were sort of fed up with my shenanigans. The drive was quiet, apart from the deer milling around the sides of the winding country roads, and the sky a beautiful shade of indigo as I rolled into the gravel parking lot of the Wildflower Preserve at 5. He was already there. He had army blankets. And we shyly made a cozy spot on the grass to watch the sunrise. My thought process went, "Thank God someone is finally going to kiss me. I wonder what it'll be like." Really, it wasn't so much that I found him particularly cute, but that, like most hormonal teenagers, I really just wanted someone to touch me. But unlike most hormonal teenagers, he wanted to talk first. He told me cheerfully that he thought most of American medicine was a conspiracy on the part of Big Pharma. That included the dental industry. And then he dropped this bombshell. "So I actually think humans weren't meant to brush our teeth. It destroys the natural balance of bacteria in our mouths, and that's what leads to cavities. So I haven't brushed in 5 years. And I have no dental problems at all. See, total conspiracy." Now, 35-year-old me would have said, then we ain't kissing, bacteria boy. But 17-year-old me squeaked out, "Want a piece of gum? I have gum." No, of course he didn't. And he asked how many cavities I'd had recently. Unfortunately, for my twice-a-day brushing self, I'd had several. "Ha!" he cried, startling a nearby deer and possibly killing a few of the preserve's wildflowers with the force and content of his exhalation. "Told you!" Then he was on me, gently pushing me back on the ground and sucking on my entire face at once. Opening his mouth so wide, he managed to swallow both my chin and nose in one soggy, warm vacuum. I tried to concentrate on anything other than allowing my senses to engage with the experience. My arms flailed helplessly around, trying to push him off me without being so forward as to push him off me. Time passed. I flailed, and he sucked. I started to feel damp on my arms and legs as the morning dew set upon our bodies in a light rose, orange, and yellow. Finally, I managed to wrench my head from his mouth and turn to the side, and I screamed. I screamed like a girl being stalked by a serial killer in Washington Crossing National Park amidst the wildflower preserve might have screamed. And I kept screaming, because as I focused on my limbs, I realized that it wasn't just dew that had settled upon them. It was slugs. I was covered in slugs. I began ripping off my clothing, as did the guy, both of us hollering and flailing and flicking. Then we stood, pale and adolescent and nearly naked before one another. And he looked me up and down as he distractedly checked his arms and legs for lingering slugs and said, "So you want to hang out tomorrow?"